Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We just had a briefing from the National Weather Service regarding Tropical Storm Hermine. And as of 11 o'clock, the track has not changed significantly from what we've seen for the past 4 to 8 hours. We are still under the potential for heavy rains, high winds, anywhere from 20 to 25 miles an hour, some localized flooding from those heavy rains, and there is a potential for an outside threat of tornadoes. These feeder bands that are coming through with the tropical storm does have the potential to spin off tornadoes very quickly and very unexpectedly. So we will have to wait and watch, see what happens, and there is a chance that we could see some tornadoes spin up in the early morning hours, and we'll continue to watch that and see what happens. What we're telling everyone to do is take the time now to prepare their families, their friends, their coworkers, and their offices for the potential for severe weather. The majority of what we're going to be seeing will start early morning on Friday and go throughout the day until Friday evening about 5 or 6 o'clock, with the worst threat being between about 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Friday. The Emergency Management Agency will continue to coordinate with all of our community partners, the Bibb County School Board, the Bibb County Sheriff's Office, as well as all of our county departments, to ensure that we're getting and sharing the best and latest information. We will continue to coordinate with the National Weather Service and the National Hurricane Center for continuous updates throughout the night tonight into tomorrow. Does anyone have any specific questions for me?
Are you guys going to open any shelters based off of this information?
Right now, no. We do coordinate with the Red Cross. If that is a necessity, we will coordinate with the Red Cross and our community partners to open those, and we will notify residents what shelters will be open. Okay, I'd like to turn it over to, oh, yes, sir.
Just in about 10 seconds or so, it seems so basic, but can you just tell people, you say people need to prepare, can you just tell people what they should kind of be doing, what they need?
Absolutely. Put together your emergency kit. Make sure it's updated. Make sure you have bottled water, non-perishable foods, a radio with batteries that has a weather alert on it. Non-perishable foods, those flashlights are always a necessity. There is a chance with this heavy rain and sustained winds that we will lose power throughout some areas in the community. So make sure you have flashlights, make sure you have your cell phone chargers and all that information. Also, you want to make sure your emergency plan is ready. Talk to your friends and family. Make sure you know what to do, where you need to shelter in place if something does happen.
Thank you. Good job.
Yes, sir.
Driving safety. We see people driving through high water a lot. Talk about that, please.
Yes, I cannot stress enough, it is extremely important that you do not drive through high water. You know your area, you know your communities, you know what areas flood when it rains. Avoid those areas. Even though you may say, oh, that water only looks to be 6 inches deep, the problem is that water's been flowing for 3 or 4 hours and the road is no longer there. The dirt underneath is no longer there, and that 6-inch gap now becomes a 2-foot gap and become very dangerous. So we always stick with the adage, don't drown, turn around, find another route. If there's not any other questions, I'm going to turn it over to David Gowan with the Bibb County School Board.
Thank you, Spencer. The Bibb County School District, we've been monitoring this storm for about the last 3 days. We continue to closely use the National Weather Service as our primary source information. We coordinate very closely with Macon-Bibb County Emergency Management Agency, the Bibb County Sheriff's Office, Macon-Bibb County Fire Department, and our other community partners. As of right now, we plan on having school tomorrow. We will continue to monitor the situation. There will be several more briefings. I believe we'll have another briefing at 5 o'clock this afternoon and maybe another one later this evening. So we will continue to monitor the weather situation. I want to assure parents that we do have severe weather procedures. When we are in school tomorrow, if we needed to implement those, we do have a way to shelter in place. We practice those several times a year. in addition to our fire drills. We also, as the storm approaches, we count on the Bibb County Sheriff's Office to monitor the road conditions and keep us updated to make sure that road conditions are safe for us to operate school buses and are safe for our parents to drive to and from school. Any questions?
Football tomorrow night, same thing, just.
Yes, we'll continue to monitor the situation as far as school tomorrow, but as of right now, we plan on having school tomorrow and the high school football tomorrow night, but we do continue to monitor the situation for both of those, the school opening or closing and the high school football contest tomorrow night. Yes, sir.
We are supposed to get this inches of rain, is that what we're thinking, right?
There's several factors when we.
Around 11 a.m. or so?
Yeah, well, the timing's
Everything plays
this.
out?
Yeah, the timing's still iffy right now as far as the motion of the cone of possibility and also the amount of rain. So we will monitor wind speed, the sustained wind speed, wind gust, how slick are the roads, do we have localized flooding in certain areas. So we factor all those situations into any decision to change our status for school tomorrow. But right now, school will be open tomorrow.
If you lose, let's say you shut down your schools for tomorrow,
Mhm.
wouldn't that be a lot smarter to do it ahead of the storm versus having kids get into your schools and then sometime during the day that you're trying to release kids out? Wouldn't it be smarter just to work ahead?
Well, when we make any final decision on whether to keep schools open or to close them, we base that on the best information we have at the time. But as you know, the weather is unpredictable, so we could base a decision on the best, latest information we have from the National Weather Service, and then the weather still changes. But I want to ensure parents, even in that unlikely event, we are able to shelter in place in the schools, and we do practice those drills we call them severe weather drills, and we practice those several times a school year. So students in our district are very well versed in implementing those severe weather procedures along with our principals and teachers. But we always want to base any decision, if we had to change our decision and close schools, we want to base that on the best and most timely information we have.
So would you try to, reach out like later this evening and maybe make a big decision about not having kids go or?
Yes, we're going to receive more information as the day goes on, and we would try to send out that information if we had to make a change about school. We wouldn't do that at the last minute right before school. So stay tuned, but as of right now, the information we have, we plan on schools being open tomorrow and the high school contest going as scheduled.
And you said y'all are meeting tonight at 5 o'clock just to discuss all of it.
Well, I know the National Weather Service is going to have at least another email briefing. I don't know if they're going to go live I don't think they've decided yet if they're going to do another live webinar at 5. I think they're still deciding on that. But either way, we're going to receive information from them. And we do have the ability as a school district to contact them on our own also, where we can talk directly with the chief forecaster on duty there. And that helps as primary source information to help our superintendent if he had to make a decision. But right now, I want to stress we are planning on having school tomorrow as normal, and the high school contest tomorrow night. Other questions? Okay.
One last thing I just want to stress, and this was stressed on the National Weather Service briefing, and we've seen it over the last 4 or 5 days that we've been tracking this storm, is that this forecast, this storm has been very unpredictable. And right now, Macon-Bibb County is right on that line outside of some of these major impacts that we might see. So a small shift, and we're talking anything from 15 to 20 miles shift in the track north or west could significantly change the impacts that we see here in the county. And so I cannot stress this enough. Please stay aware of what's going on. Listen to local media. emergency management and the school board and all of our government agencies are continuing to put out information. If we're asking you to stay off the roads and shelter in place, it's for a very good reason. Once again, like I said, we will have more information later on this evening as the track continues and we get more information from the National Weather Service.